What would it be like to be a social entrepreneur? Not exactly sure what that refers to. Well, the short of it is you're running a for-profit business, but with a social cause right up front and center. So we've got this great guest lined up. His name is Danu Poyner, and he runs this community called Grokkist, and more on that in just a moment. But basically, he's helping others discover their curiosity or rediscover it, as well as their purpose and mission in life. And obviously this translates into careers and helping people succeed. So we've got this great conversation in which we dive into all of that, into his business, how he goes about doing these things, some of the challenges associated with it, a day in the life, and a whole bunch of other great conversation points. But as always, there's so much more in the full audio version, and you can find that wherever you access your podcast. Just do that search for Life as a ... Well, I don't want to waste any more time, so let's jump into all of this. Okay, well, first up, I did lightly mention what a social entrepreneur is, but I also want to give Daniel a chance to explain it a little more fully. So here's a clip of him doing that.
The way I think about it is there are profit-driven companies where it's really about, delivering value to shareholders. And then there are purpose-driven companies, which are also need to be commercially viable and have the structure of a company, but their reason for existing is to deliver on a social mission, and they succeed or fail to the extent that they deliver on that mission. And they usually have instruments or structures that guarantee and bake in that social purpose to make sure that that's prioritized and protected.
Okay, understanding social entrepreneurship, check. Next up is a clip of Daniel explaining his business, Grokkist. So check it out.
Grokkist is a word that I have coined to refer to a certain kind of person. And the people I call Grokkists are people whose deepest orientation to the world comes from curiosity and care. And it's actually not that easy to be that kind of person in the world we have, because most aspects of life, what's valued is conformity over curiosity and tends to be instrumental outcomes over genuine care. So we end up, like I have, walking away from things a lot, being good at things, but not having a secure sense of professional purpose, or feeling our background is all over the place and that we're a kind of beautiful mess that doesn't fit anywhere. So I guess, like many entrepreneurs, I'm trying to solve my own problems. And you look around and see that, you look around at the world and see precisely that what's often missing is curiosity and care. So I guess I wanted to plant a flag for curiosity and care and say, this is what matters. This should be our starting point, at least. And if you're the kind of person who feels that on a kind of almost cellular level, then this can be your home. And it's a kind of a home where we help people make sense of themselves, connect more deeply with their curiosity, and also with the practice that they care about most sincerely. So that's the social purpose.
Yeah, I really like the sentiment in that last clip there. I think it's incredibly important for people to rediscover, that curiosity, to find their sense of professional purpose. But you might be wondering how he goes about doing this. Well, here's a clip of Danu breaking that down.
By having a lot of one-to-one conversations with people and trying to find a loose structure for how to do this. It's really about helping people. People are quite alienated from their own interests. And it's about reframing their own experience so that they can tap into their own interests. And so the way that we do that is through a lot of activities and discussion that enable that kind of reframing to find a language. So one very early activity is something I call a weird and wild list, which is where you list all the things that you would never put on a CV. It's your shadow CV. So if the light in your inner child's eyes fades at the thought of updating your CV, then it's probably a good opportunity to do a shadow CV. And what are all of the weird things that you've done, the little 6-month trips, the projects that you started that you never finished, all of the stuff that you think has no relation to anything, just put it all together and then let's see what does connect it, because guaranteed there will be things that do connect it.
At this point in the conversation, it's probably pretty clear to see the social aspect of Danu's business. You know, the authenticity, the genuine nature, the care that's going into the work that he's doing. But I would like to shift things over to the business side of it, the entrepreneurship side of it. And here's a clip of Danu explaining the value he derives from running this kind of business.
For me, what I really wanted in doing my own thing was to have an environment where I have no 2 days that are the same in a row. I'm someone who likes to do many, many different things. And I like to work at a level of big picture, and I like to be really absorbed in detail. And I like to spend a while on this and then spend a while on that, and then be social and then lock myself away. And I really wanted to be able to do whatever the hell I want, basically. So that's a big driver for this. And so what I have now is the beautiful, terrible freedom of having exactly what I asked for, where there's a lot to be done, and I enjoy doing it. And there is a kind of structure when you look at it, and it's been very interesting to find out what those routines are when you're just completely left to your own devices.
Well, to continue this deep dive look into the business side of things, here's a clip of Danu breaking down a day in the life of being a social entrepreneur, of running a type of business that he's involved in. So have a listen.
I orbit between doing a lot of correspondence and meeting a lot of people, especially one-to-one, creating stuff. So writing articles, producing podcasts, making videos, working with other people in a kind of coaching, consulting capacity to bring out the tacit knowledge and experience that they have, and try and find a structure for it and help people organize their thoughts and kind of productize some of that, I guess. And also doing a lot of tinkering on the website, just, changing this page, making this style sheet, very obscure technical stuff. And then admin and back office stuff sometimes, and developing, and then always looking for new people to be involved. So yeah, quite a mix of things.
Well, I do have one more clip I want to slide into this video, and it's centered on Danu explaining the rewards of running this type of business. And when I say rewards, I'm not referring to monetary things. I'm not referring to the material. It's all about the personal. What is the rub off on your life, on his life in running this kind of business? It's a really important clip. I mean, when you're sinking yourself into something, you have your heart and soul into it. How is that going to come back and affect you and influence the way you live your life? So, very important clip. Have a listen.
I feel more myself than I have in a really long time. I think that's probably the biggest reward.
What do you mean by that?
I've spent a lot of time masking my abilities and things that I care about. Anything from little things like the writing style that I use, not being scholarly enough, or just trying to do a good job and be hospitable and care about people, and not always put the profit or the bottom line first. Care about it, yes, but maybe not first. A lot of things like that. And I just don't have to do that masking anymore, or apologize for showing up as the person I am. And I've been surprised by how much of that work I've had to do to get past my own default settings and rediscover who I really am. And that's been probably the biggest reward for me, is when I turn up to one of our events that we run, that I don't facilitate that event and I don't have anything to do with it. I'm just there as a participant, and I'm getting the rewards of being able to show up as myself and understand myself better, and be in community in the space that I've created. that's very, very rewarding to me.
All right, well, I think we are reaching the point in which we need to shut down this video. But as always, I do encourage you to check out the full-length audio version. We get into topics such as, how Danu specifically goes about helping people find professional purpose, actual techniques that you can latch onto and try it yourself. We also talk about this notion of community, how he goes about building it, sustaining it. You might have noticed his accent. He's based over in New Zealand, and yet a lot of his clients are centered all over the globe. So it's a really interesting discussion on that side of his business. And finally, there's this really great story you're not going to want to miss. And lastly, shameless plug time. I really, really would appreciate a like or subscribe. It's the best way to let YouTube and this algorithm know that this content matters. All right, finally, please stay tuned for the next episode of Life As it'll be coming out right next week, so don't miss it.